Bonjour, mortals. Welcome to the Velvet Vein, a peaceful little place where digital souls dine in grace. Fresh meals, gentle music, tables not yet on fire. It is bliss. But as the mortal says, peace is temporary. As the car on fire, I dropped the extinguisher, and Carla ran to the toilet. Truly a promising start. Knock, worry, knock, for those, where I am Elena Bethorie, highborn vampire, and this is the story of my first night in the restaurant business. Greetings, mortals, and welcome to the Velvet Vein, the most exquisite establishment where fine dining meets blood-curdling ambition. Behold my digital selves, Chef Elena Bethorie, clad in the deepest red, a chef coat soup in style, and perhaps past transgressions. Now I must confess, I've never actually cooked before. Before my awakening in this 21st century, meals were served to me in goblets by trembling butlers. So imagine my dismay when I realized mortals today expect me to fry things. My frying, grilling, and stove skills are, well, tragic. But my oven skill is slightly better. Why? Because I love making. It's the closest one can get to casting a culinary spell. Slow, patient, and satisfying. Like aging a mortal for 40 years before nibbling their soul. But of course, my highest skill is charisma, obviously. I'm a highborn vampire. My mere presence flavors the air. Welcome to the Velvet Vein. Why the name? Because it drips class, elegance, and just a hint of something sinister. It's like biting into a perfectly cooked duck breast. Surprising, decadent, and slightly alarming. My starting budget is $10,000. Not exactly a royal treasury, but sufficient to begin this experiment. First, I expanded the dining area. Mortals must dine somewhere after all. And apparently, in modern times, everyone needs their own toilet. Back in my day, people simply vanished into the woods. The weak were never seen again. I installed one anyway. You're welcome. My kitchen was dreadfully small. I could barely turn without elbowing a wall. So I expanded it too. After all, one needs space for mayhem. I selected only the finest tiles and wallpaper. It's with the express purpose of making my guests feel slightly unnerved, yet oddly fancy. And now, the pièce de résistance, my first menu item, Duckula. Yes, Duckula. A fowl dish fit for a duck dish. Sear the duck with sage and vegetable oil, an herb for production, oil for the sizzle of the dam. Then bake it alongside PPTO, potato, pumpkin, tomato, eggplant, and orange. Yes, orange, because even I enjoy a zesty twist of chaos. Played it with grace, and voila, Duckula lives. Next, Bloodless Steak. I know, ironic, but even I have refined taste. Sirloin, seasoned with red wine, ketchup, smoked paprika, and salt. A simple dish, yet it whispers of elegance. 5 stars material, fit for vampire or someone pretending to be one. And now, a personal favorite, Nightshade Pasta. A dish I only ate beneath a full blood moon, alone, accompanied by silence and vintage despair. Boiled dried pasta? Yes, dried. I have eternity, but no patience for hand-rolled nonsense. Then sear it with TEWSS. Tomato, eggplant, wine, bread, naturally, sea urchin, and squid ink. I first tasted sea urchin when a shogun, during my visit to the east in the 13th century, insisted I sample it. I was suspicious, but it was divine. He survived the night. With the renovation mostly done, and my divine menu ready, it was ready to hire a hand's helper, a mortal face to greet the others. I reviewed many, but one stood up. Karma Silva. She will serve and possibly clean the blood, metaphorically speaking. And so, the doors opened at 10 a.m. The sun was scarcely bright. One table, then two. Slow beginnings. I hoped for $1 million first day. Instead, I waited. The cupboard claimed I performed poorly in cooking. Lies! The system is obviously rigged against my dark culinary genius. Then came a review. Someone there critiqued my Nightshade Pasta. John Barcel, I shall remember that name. You're going on the bite list. By 2 p.m., my tables were full. Glorious. But alas, I was wilting. Daylight, stress, and constant cooking, it gnawed at my undead soul. I wondered, should I hire more help? But no, my ego insisted I suffer in style. At 5:30 p.m., disaster struck. Fire! Flames licked the walls, and I held the extinguisher, frozen in stress. Carla, dear Carla, panicked and fled to the toilet to clean, of all things. I bought another extinguisher. Me, not the Elena in the game. And yet it was too late. Carla too felt the stress, and we burned, while the guests waited politely. I saw the close early button. Should I? But my guests, they stayed. Brave mortals, hungry and fearless. I honored them by staying open. Eventually, the fire died on its own. I rebuilt my kitchen and rose again, like a souffle that refused to collapse. By 7 p.m., Carla returned. I gathered my thoughts, we cook again. One guest, Joanne Gibson, praised the Nightshade Pasta. Joanne, you're officially off the bite list. As for the others, I'm watching you. By 8 p.m., only 2 tables remained. I was a shell of my former selves, but I endured. At 10:30 p.m., the final guest departed. Day 1 was over, and thus conclude my first night at the Velvet Vein. It was Bagmas. It was infernal. It was deliciously chaotic. Shall I return for day 2? Shall we rise again? Stronger? Hungrier? Leave a comment, mortal. Tell me if you wish to dine once more in the shadows of my kitchen. Until then, stay famished.